Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the seventh episode of the Nifty Cauldron podcast. I'm your host, Milan, and this is my co-host,
Kelly.
Kelly, with like a little bit of a raspy throat, but we'll we'll power through it. How are you? How are you doing today, Kelly?
Today was kind of like a rougher day because of like work. I was supposed to have, a quote unquote half day. I was dangled a carrot for forgoing my comp day last week that I would get a day and a half this week, and I didn't get my half day. So the carrot ended up falling from the tree and beating me senseless, and here I am. Hello.
Damn, you got the stick, not the carrot. It seems like.
Oh hell yeah, I got that big stick.
Well, today aside, how's your week been? Is that a better question, or is it also just been just all stick, no carrot?
It's been pretty much all stick, no carrot. So to keep the podcast from spiraling down into a self-deprecating woe, why don't you tell me about your week?
Well, my week has been I'll stick to. Not really. I mean, yeah, kind of. Fatalis came out yesterday, which, happy times, good times. Fuck yeah, Fatalis is there. And then I handed him the lube, and he just kind of had its way with me for hours on end. And before that, I tried Elatreon, to unlock the story, and Elatreon was like, "Oh, you didn't bring any lube, didn't you, huh?" And then I kind of took it. So, like the last 9 hours in Monster Hunter, I accomplished fuck all except like use items. That's all I did.
So basically, both of them gave you the wobbly H. You were like the hot rotisserie in the middle, and both dragons were just like pounding you from both the front and the back.
Basically, it was. I mean, it was a good time. Don't get me wrong,
I mean,
but
some people paid money for that, so
yeah, that's true. Like it's still made for good stream content, I think. And both fights are really well designed, so I'm not mad about it. But it's just other than that, it's just the usual, lack of sleep, fucking up my sleep schedule. You know how it is with me. It's always an enigma with me if I'm sleeping or not.
So now this podcast is sponsored by Bad Dragon. From all the sex jokes that we made with dragons just in that brief couple minutes just starting. You're welcome.
I mean, I'll take a Bad Dragon sponsor. I don't care. Fuck it. Send me one. Like we'll wear it live while recording. It's fine.
Yeah. Put one like on my forehead. Give me one of the ones with that fucking lay eggs. I want one of those egg laying motherfuckers. Dragon alien dicks that just I can spew eggs at people and I'll tie it to my head. Hell yeah.
Same. Absolutely same.
Same.
So, speaking about like good stream content, actually, how do you cope? I guess with. I mean, I don't think you've had it yet, but you maybe like ran the scenario in your head. How do you keep like how do you deal with like repetitive failure on stream? Because I essentially failed every hunt I did for like 5 hours straight. How do you like overcome and like stay positive or like turn your spin into something good?
Well, surprise, bitch, I'm never fucking positive, so let me just double down on that. All right. 1, positivity, never met her. She a nice girl. Want to take her home to meet my parents. But so for me when I like fail a hunt, it feels bad, man. Like the hunt that I failed the Volcana siege mission. I failed that, and that made me feel like shit. And on the inside, I was like, I should just end stream and uninstall this game right now. But on the outside, like because I was on stream, I just kind of like pushed the pain down and then just like drove through it, I guess. I haven't had repeated failures on stream. Oh wait, no, I did, but when we were doing Kieran. So we failed Kieran a bunch of times, but for some reason that didn't bother me at all. Like I was just kind of like, meh, that's just so the cookie crumbles. But I mean, I think I think that one day with Volcana, I just had like a really bad mental health day, and then the failure snapped me back to like the horrible time in 3rd grade where I failed at my violin recital and I fucked up "Go Tell Aunt Rhody the Grey Old Goose is Dead," and everybody's staring at me, but in a digital environment. So did that fuck me up? Absolutely. Did I push through it anyways? Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe the mental difference is Kieran can sometimes be a crapshoot. Like, you're playing Bull Hell with his RNG lightning bolt, so if you get hit, it's sometimes bad luck. Volcano was just like not RNG dependent, so maybe that's why you felt more bad.
I think so. It was just like, man, I can't believe I did this on the day of my daughter's wedding. I embarrassed myself, kind of thing. But like, I don't know. I got over it really quickly.
Yeah.
I remember like feeling terrible and being like, I should end stream and uninstall this game and then lay in my bed and think about all the things that I've done wrong in my life. But like, I don't know. I was able to snap out of it pretty quickly. And then I was quiet for a bit. And then I was like, all right, I got to pick up the pieces. Let's go. And then,
yeah.
How about you, though? Sounds like you were a struggle strem for a little bit. How'd that make you feel, my dog?
No, I actually didn't feel bad at all. If anything, I felt maybe a little bit guilty to the viewers watching. They were like, they presumably came here to see good content and the slaying of monsters, but instead it was I who was being slain over and over again. But I didn't feel like bad because they're the 2 hardest fights in the game, and I'm hella unprepared. I kind of expected it, like I talked about, last week's podcast, that I wanted to prepare for Fatalis and stuff, and I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done. So I knew I was kind of like forcing my hand, even though I really shouldn't. But part of me really wants to like end the Monster Hunter streams like this week and just start with a new game and then just do Monster Hunter Mondays with you. But I don't know, like I feel a little bit weird to like I guess to put it differently, it feels better to end the game on Friday and start fresh on Monday than it is to start a new game midweek.
I feel that because like sometimes I feel that way too. I was thinking about, probably because I am not in any way, shape, or form ready for fucking Fatalis. So, and I know that for a fact. I know that I'm not ready. And I'm not even really ready for Elatrion. And I've done like Safi like a few times, and that's pretty much it. But only one successful Safi run. So, really, I'm not ready for that kind of in-game content. Will I still continue to play Monster Hunter on the side? Yes. Will I still play Monster Hunter Mondays? Yes. But I'm thinking, because now we're in October, baby. It's basically fucking Halloween all fucking month. Like, I definitely want to dip my toe into that sweet, sweet, sweet Halloween goodness. Do some spooky games, do some supernatural games, do some fucking creepy stuff, the crepes. So that's kind of like where my head's at. So I definitely feel I'm in the same kind of vein as you, where I'm ready to kind of move on to like a different game, at least stream wise, and touch back on it on Mondays and stuff. But I don't really want to start in the middle of the week, but at the same time, I probably am because I'm like, it's Halloween. Sorry. Later.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I don't really have an attachment with Halloween at all. We don't celebrate it in my country. So I've never gone like trick-or-treating or had any Halloween decorations. Like for us, this is just like pre-Christmas season, This is just early Christmas kind of deal. Yeah. So but other than that, I've never really been into like spooky or horror games either. So it's not good for my heart rate to like do them for like a month straight,
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that. Like, I definitely don't like spooky. I'm definitely like more supernatural, like atmospheric games. I don't really like jump scares. I think jump scares are annoying and they're cheap. But I like the freaky factor through like immersion, where you're like, oh no, I'm doing some fucked up shit, or oh no, they're doing some fucked up shit, and I'm watching them do fucked up shit. Like that's kind of like where I live. I'm definitely not a jump scare person. I've never been a jump scare person. I don't actually like horror movies where their whole shtick is just jump scares. That definitely pisses me off. But I like good storytelling. There's good storytelling with a horror element. Like, I'm a big slut for that, TBH.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I guess I would classify those more as thrillers because they're like exciting and you know, like a little bit of the maybe spooky element, maybe it's sci-fi, doesn't have to be, but jump scares can fuck right off. Like, I used to work in a movie theater, and there's nothing worse than like walking into the movie, you know, into the theater of a running movie, just to like check that everything's okay, and you walk in right during the jump scare moment when you're sitting next to the fucking bass boosted speaker. Like, that's heart attack inducing, and I hate it every single time.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would be pretty fucking shitty. Especially because fucking bass boosted.
Yeah.
Bass boosted out of your fucking mind. And then yeah, so like that's kind of like where I'm at. Like I'm not a big fan of jump scares and stuff, but I mean it's October, baby, so it's time.
It is.
First
I agree.
Halloween.
I mean,
First day
over
of Halloween.
here, it's already the 2nd of October, so y'all need to play catch up a little bit.
Damn, you're already on your second day of Halloween. Fuck.
Yeah. Ooh.
How is it in the future?
It's all shit all the time, everywhere.
Still shit.
Yeah. You know, same shit, new day kind of deal. We didn't really get to touch upon it last time because we kind of talked about Monster Hunter, and then we kind of went deep and dark about compliments and our feelings and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to bring up like streamer / chat etiquette, and like kind of get your thoughts and feelings, you know, about that subject. Like, I guess since we're both more in the streaming chat category, is there any etiquette you think like streamers should have, or is there something you specifically do or don't do on stream, you know, because it's on stream, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, ultimately, I feel that because you are the streamer, you need to rein in your community. So if your community is being a fucking dick, you need to fucking rein that shit in, because you are the conduit of everybody else's experience. Can't let people fucking be a bully. Like, don't fucking stand a bully. Like, if someone's being a fucking bully, like, just fucking call them out on that shit. And then if it keeps getting out of hand, you just gotta fucking ban them, like, or time them out, or like whatever the fuck you want to do. But like, I think, yeah, ultimately, because you are the streamer and you are the person that is the one thing in common with everybody else in the chat, kind of at this point, it's like it's your job to curate your community, and you need to set a standard that you're not going to tolerate bullying or any kind of that shit. Like, no fucking hate speech, no fucking sexism, no fucking racism, no fucking, like, just none of that shit. And you should, that I feel like that's just like a gold standard, like, among the streaming community. And if it's not a gold standard in your fucking chat, then what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, you're a bad streamer, you're a bad person, go fuck yourself. Look me in the eyes while I tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I do completely agree. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely agree, because I don't want to say that chat is a reflection of the streamer, because I think that kind of puts it like on the streamer. Like, you know, if people are dicks, then it's it's because the streamer is like that. So like, I don't like that, like when people say that specifically. But I do completely agree that as a streamer, like, you and your potential mod team kind of like need to set the standard and, you know, say what is and isn't allowed, and, you know, keep it going from there.
I agree. And I'm saying, like, chat, like, your content is your content, but think about it, chat is also your content. If you think about it, that's why you police it. That's why you have mods to reinforce your chat, right? It's still technically your content. It's people reacting to your content, right? So in a way, it's a little bit of your content and a little bit of your responsibility. I don't think that if people are being dicks in chat, that's necessarily a reflection of you as a streamer. You know, obviously, it's like sometimes you get a fucking, just someone's got a bad fucking day and they just want to take it out on chat and shit. I haven't had too many instances in which people have been bullied in my stream. Only basically one. And I called that person out and told them if they didn't fucking stop that shit, then I would like time them out or ban them. And then they stopped, kind of thing. And that's pretty much all I've had to do so far. But it's just like, it's my job to basically not let people get bullied in chat for something that they shouldn't be bullied for. You know? Yeah. Like, I can rein that person in because it's my content and it's what I'm creating. and I'm curating my community. Like I'm showing them, I'm setting them a standard of the things that I would expect them to, the way that they should be reacting or acting or not acting in certain instances. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. If anything, I would say, because I haven't had any bad apples so far, you know, knock on wood. Like I would say, like I would even more so say that it's fine to bully me, don't bully chat. You know what I mean? Like, cause like it's my stream. Like I get to like reply, and you know, like I don't have to worry about getting out of line. Right? Like if you bully me, I get to retort whatever I want. But in chat, if you retort with something that's like a little bit more fucked up than what you maybe intended, then I might call you out for the retort, and then it's just a whole mess. So I feel like if you want to bully someone, bully the streamer. You might get timed out or banned if you go too far, but like don't bully other people in chat. You know, that's just weird and stupid.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, just don't do it, man. I don't know. It costs you nothing to not be a dick. Literally, it costs you fucking nothing. It costs you more to be a dick because you might, you know, get banned and not be able to go back to that channel and shit. But it's like sometimes some people are just looking for that. Some people just want to be fucking banned. I don't fucking know. But either way, like I've never really had a lot of issues and stuff with that. But recently I saw a tweet where basically it was just like, hey, I know there's a lot of streamers out there that are like, hey, I don't talk politics and shit in my stream just because, you know, like that's just not what I want to be doing. And then there was somebody that basically was just like, hey, but at the same time it's like you should really encourage your people in your stream and stuff to like vote. And I know this doesn't necessarily apply to you, Nifty, because you're in another fucking country and stuff right now, but this is just something that's like my one brain cell was like thinking about. And like I don't really keep my political stances like off of stream. If I'm asked, I'm just gonna fucking say it because it's like it's whatever. But I think because of like the state of how like America is right now with the president and the presidential election coming up, that like I don't know, I don't hide my political status basically in my stream, and I've never have, and I've only had like one person come in and try to troll me about it, and I basically told them they're in the wrong fucking place and they can fuck off if they want, and they left on their own accord. So I don't know. How do you feel about, you know, if you were asked like your political alignment or something like that in your stream or whatever, would you dox it, or would you keep it hidden because you would, you know, not want to provoke people or lose followers?
Right. I was actually going to bring up that tweet because for me, I completely disagree with that tweet. To answer your question first, it's very weird because the assumption is if they ask me about my political shit, they're assuming I'm from the United States and they're asking me if I'm pro or anti-Trump. And that whole tweet is kind of that whole mindset of like, well, because I'm pretty sure in my rules I have just have it stated like no politics, because one, I don't live in the United States, so I don't follow your politics closely, nor will I ever do that because I can't even vote there. So why should I care, right? That kind of deal. And secondly, a lot of people come to Twitch to escape from their daily lives, their drama, the politics, like, and I don't know. I feel that if they're trying to escape the current landscape, which is completely understandable because America is like pretty much on fire, right? In every sense of the word. Like I think California is actually on fire or has been recently. So it's all kinds of bad. And then if they come to my stream to like kind of get away from that because it's mentally taxing, and I just turn around and talk about more politics, I don't think that's really a place for it. I wouldn't ban anyone for it. Like I would just ask them kind of like, hey, please don't. But I mostly disagree with that tweet because it's very America centric. It's very, you know, like it's election month or upcoming election month for you guys and everything like that. But it's like to the rest of the world, it isn't. So I think it is very close-minded to just kind of blanket state, you know, everybody like, hey, you should talk about politics in chat and you should encourage your viewers to vote, and all of that is like, it doesn't really apply to every demographic, I think.
No, and it definitely doesn't apply. I mean, this is definitely, like I said, a very American centric kind of thing happening right now. But I mean, like, for me, the instance that I had that someone joined my chat and they were just like, yeah, Trump 2020. And then I was like, oh, bitch, you're in the wrong fucking space for that shit. So don't be talking that shit in here. And everybody else was just like, yeah, dude, you're in the wrong spot. Like, my stream is very, like, you know, it's got the tags, it's got the LGBTQIA tag, so it's like, I don't understand why you coming in the space and be like, you know, fist pumping that name in here, because we clearly aren't standing with you, kind of thing. And then I basically just kind of was just like, yeah, like, I don't know. You're probably like 12 years fucking old. Why don't you go fuck off and eat some fucking graham crackers with your mom? And then they left. And that was it. And then that's basically all I've had to like do about that. But like I said, like, I understand your stance on saying like there's a lot of people that are out for like escapism and they're not willing to talk about that kind of stuff. But I mean, if it comes up in a situation like someone forces the hand, comes in, just starts blowing up chat with like, you know, Trump 2020, it's just like, I'm gonna address it. I feel like me not addressing it and just like banning that person or just like not saying anything. You know, I did give them a chance to hang out and not promote their message, but they chose to leave, and that's fine.
Yeah, cool. Like I would have probably also addressed it like, hey, you know, like it's cool that you already know who you're gonna vote for, but one, you know, I'm not American, and two, like, no politics in chat, so you can either chill or I'll time you out. Like, it's up to you, you know, like that kind of deal.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good answer.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, right, it doesn't matter. My political stance doesn't matter because I don't follow it close enough, you know, and nor do I go out of my way to like do so. So my information will never be, you know, 100% like fact checked or researched or even the whole picture or have contextual clues, because we all know nowadays headlines are the most important thing about an article, right? Even though they're often clickbaity. And secondly, I can't vote in America. It literally does not matter who I support or don't support, you know? So
yeah, but I mean, America is just the center of the universe, so why would we care what Europe thinks anyways, right?
Basically.
Right?
Although I will say I probably know more about American politics than I do in my own countries, but that's because we have more than a two-party system. The other day I actually found out that the EU has their own anthem, like separate from like all like every separate country. Like, holy shit, we've had this since day one, and yeah, we did.
I also did not know that.
Yeah, pretty good.
Huh.
Don't hate it.
Huh.
But yeah, so I don't know. It's just, I guess, like our politics system in the Netherlands is pretty thorough. Like, we have a parliament, we have several parties, you know, everybody gets a vote, etc., etc. So it's never a case of like one bad apple can't ruin the system kind of deal, right? Like, as opposed to America, it's a two-party system. You know, if both parties are bad, it's kind of like lesser evil kind of situation. But you give one person the power of the entire country, and that's not good. So over here, like we don't have to worry about that kind of shit.
I mean, technically that's not true because we do have a checks and balance system. We
Sure.
have the House of Representative. We also have the Supreme Court and all that good stuff. And that is supposed to fucking regulate, you know, what's happening with the actual person that's the president. That's our checks and balance system.
Yeah.
However, if a one party predominantly controls like the House, because, you know, they hire, you know, people in, they elect people in, and if that party, you know, dominates the House and then they dominate the Supreme Court, then it doesn't really matter what the fuck the affiliation is of the president, because it's like whatever, because the other parties dominating the other two places of the checks and balance system, whatever that guy wants to write a bill, it's not going to fucking pass.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's like, but at the same time, that's our way of dealing it. But the two-party system is totally broken. But that'll definitely go down a very slippery slope of, you know, deep lore going into that. So, I think for me, like, I'm cooling on stream etiquette now. If you're cooling on stream etiquette.
Sort of. I do want to like change it because, like I said, and
That was
like
good.
to chat etiquette a little bit.
Oh,
Like, do you feel? Yeah. Like, how do you feel that chat? I mean, like, not should behave, but are there like some do's and don'ts inside of your head? Like the first one that springs to my mind instantly, and that's probably because of like anxiety and self-esteem issues and stuff like that. But if I'm doing bad in a video game and I'm acknowledging I'm doing bad, I'm starting to, sorry. If I'm, like I don't want chat to be like, no, like you did good and you'll get it. Like, don't prop me up. Like, it's fine. Like, you don't have to bully me harder, but you don't have to try to make me feel better. You know what I mean? It's like, I did bad. I acknowledge it. It's all fun and good. But I don't know. That's just my take on it. I don't know if you feel the same way or different, or if you have other do's and don'ts inside of your head that you wish chat did or didn't do.
Yeah. So for me, it's more like, I don't know, if chat wants to make some sort of comment about how I'm playing, or what would make me more mad is if I was doing bad and then someone in chat was just like, yeah, man, you really fucking sucked at that. I'd be like, cool story, bro. Like, what did you get from that other than like your fucking jimmies? I don't get it. But whatever, right? And like, I'd probably like move on from it. But like, if somebody wants to throw me like a pity party, I just mentally, I'm able to like take a step back from it, and I just like can just ignore it. But like, if someone like continuously like kept bullying me, that would probably bother me more. Versus like, if somebody was like, oh no, it's all right, you'll get him next time, you're doing so good. Like, I would just be like, okay, yeah, sure. And I'd be able to like take a step back away from it. And it's the same thing, like I would be able to take a step back away from somebody bullying me over it. But like, if they kept doing it, I would probably be like, yeah, dude, like, fuck you. Like,
yeah.
What are you adding to chat at this point? Like, you're just being a fuckhead. Like, if you want to go make fun of somebody, fucking look in the mirror, you little dick, you know?
No, I get your point. Yeah, like if they kept doing it, and then it's like, dude, like it's fine. Like, we get it. Like, I responded to you the first 8 times. Stop, right? But if it's just like, in my case, where Fatalis just kept reaming me, right? Like, if someone was like, they're like, damn, you should have fucking brought lipstick with how much you're getting fucked. Like, that's funny, right? Like that's the good kind of bullying, like you acknowledged I'm sucking at it, that he's just eating my ass all stream, and that's fine, but
And
just
you laugh at
going,
it.
yeah.
Exactly.
But if someone's just like, dude, you fucking suck at this, it's like, all right, dude, like, can you like
Cool.
chill?
Yeah. Cool story, bro. Do you want to fucking medal for that insult?
Fucking, how about you go live right now and I see you do it?
Yeah. Fucking dox your stream, dude. Yeah. Like, for me, exactly. Like, that kind of bullying would be fine. And I did get bullied a little bit, like, in my stream yesterday. And I thought it was funny. And I, like, retorted back. And I was just like, oh, well, you can't play with us anymore. And, like, tease them. And it was fine. And it was a good time. But yeah, if it's like, if someone's just being, like, pretty toxic for just the jimmies of being, like, just toxic, be like, yeah, I'm doing bad. And then they're just like, yeah, you kind of are. Maybe you should uninstall, kind of thing. It's like, if someone just started continuously doing that, like, I'd be like, dude, we get it. You vape. Like, what else do you want from me?
Yeah, like, there's definitely a line between bullying and just being mean for the sake of being mean,
Mm-hmm. It's fine if you want to have banter, but if you're just being a fuckhead to be a fuckhead, then it's like, leave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. But yeah, do you have any specific do's or don'ts that you adhere to yourself, or wish more chats or chatters did or didn't do?
Okay, so for my stream, we typically do backseat gaming for when it comes to like visual novels and otomis and stuff like that. And that's encouraged. Like, yes, backseat game, it's funny. But then when I'm playing a game that like doesn't allow for backseat gaming, and then you try to backseat game me, it's just like, the tag's not there, dude. Use your fucking eyes. Use your fucking eyes and shut your whore mouth, Maybe not so rough like that, but it's just like, if the backseat gaming tag isn't there, don't do it. Just don't do it. It's fine if you want to make a recommendation, but if you're just like, yeah, I don't fucking know. Like, it's never been like an extreme enough case where I've gotten like irritated about it, but it's happened a couple times, and I was just like, yeah, not a fan. kind of thing. Not like angry, not like how dare you, but just like a couple times I'm just like, yeah, could you not?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like I said, like I don't allow backseat gaming. The closest case I've had of it, and looking back on it, I should have probably nipped it in the bud. Is I had a case where someone came in and they were offering really good advice. So, and like in a polite way, and they weren't mean about it or anything like that. And it was just very solid advice and lots of good shit. But they kind of dominated the entire chat because of it. And looking back, like I wish I had like said something instead of it just being basically, like that person being the only one talking in chat because everybody else didn't have as much knowledge, and they probably just felt awkward, like they couldn't really say anything. So I'll definitely be, or try to be, like more aware of that in the future, and try not to let that happen anymore.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's a little off-putting. Like if you're kind of chilling, you having a good vibe, then all of a sudden fucking Wikipedia comes in and just starts dropping fucking red pills left and right. You're just kind of like,
yeah, it's like it's great, and it's like good shit, right? Especially if they're polite and good about it. But then
yeah,
if you take a step back, everybody else is just quiet in chat because they're not Wikipedia incarnate, right? So like they can't really contribute, and that's just, I don't know. Like I feel like that puts a little bit of a strain on the content as well,
Yeah, exactly. So then you're forced to interact with like one person when you have other people there that you could be interacting with, and it's just like at that point, I feel like one of your mods just needs to come in and just be like, "I like turtles." Just
Yeah,
change the subject.
basically, because I feel if you as the streamer calls them out, that's also a little bit awkward. Like hey, I really appreciate all the shit you're telling me, but can you not, like, that's like super weird. I'm calling them out in front of an audience. I think it's just better if someone else just bites the bullet and just forcibly switches the conversation.
That's like when you start doing like baseball signs to your mod and tell them to steal second base. You tip your hat to the left or the right, and then you do the I'm working at a kink in my shoulder chicken wing, and then they see, oh shit, he wants to be rescued. I got that shit, and then they change the subject in chat. But like, you ever think about how much, I don't know, fried chicken costs across the board and different chains, and just change the subject, kind of thing. It's anything at all.
That's a weak ass subject change, but I'll take it.
Fuck you, dude. I was thinking about it, Johnny, on the spot. I'm sure if I was like in the moment, I'd come up with something better. Like, hey, you ever fucked a tree before? How about that one?
Let me tell you that story. No.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I guess chat etiquette. Don't try and dominate the conversation, even though I understand the appeal, right? Because maybe you finally found someone who's willing to listen to the hobby or game you love, like absolutely. And as the streamer, I hate saying the word, but you're quote unquote more important than the rest of chat, right? Like you have the spotlight, like it's your show, it's your content. So I understand that most people in chat, they just want to interact with you directly rather than the whole community. So I can totally understand if you get going about something you love and the streamer responds and reads everything you say, that you don't want to stop it. But try, like, if possible, try to not like dominate chat by being Wikipedia or anything like that, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, how I like to think about it when I'm interacting with like a streamer, I will just be like, man, I've sent 2 messages, and other people are like only really sending like 1, or maybe I've sent like 3 messages and like other people have sent like 1 or 2, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm starting to dominate the conversation. I should probably chill, and like I'll chill for a bit.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't know. I do like a 3-1. I do like a 3-1. If I'm like 3-1 to everybody else talking, I'm like, oh shit, I'm dominating the conversation. I gotta chill.
Yeah, no, like I'm mostly a lurker kind of deal. So whenever I do chat, it's either the streamer asks like a question about the video game, and if I'm giving advice that I know, and otherwise I'll just like try and make a funny, like my brain will go, huh, that's funny, and then I'd enter.
I gotcha. Yeah, no. I definitely don't talk in big streamers streams
in
anymore.
big streams,
because it's
never.
like, no. But I mean, like if I go and I visit Chris, or like I visit you, or I go to like Fantunes, or my friend that DJs, like DJ Bit, and like Coveris has started streaming her art. I'll pop in, and Crystal, like I'll go and I'll chat in there and stuff like that. But I definitely try to keep it to like a 3-to-1. Always
Yeah.
think about 3-to-1, man. If I'm sending 3 messages and everybody else is sending 1 message, I need to shut the fuck up for a minute, unless asked.
Yeah, at the same time, if no one else is saying anything, then you might be the only one. Like, then you might be doing the streamer a favor by having them actually have something to talk about on stream, right? As opposed to nobody saying something.
For sure. I mean, yesterday I noticed when I was playing Monster Hunter, chat got pretty quiet because everybody else was playing Monster Hunter. Like, it's weird. So I started playing Monster Hunter on stream, and then people started watching me play Monster Hunter, and they're like, that looks kind of fun. And then all of a sudden, like Joe Venom. Yeah, Joe Venom also streams. Joe Venom went and bought it on PC when he was playing it on PS4, so he could play with us. And then a bunch of people in chat just ended up picking up the game, and then they started playing it. And they're like, "Yeah, I'm liking it too," kind of thing. So my chat has gotten a little quieter because most people are lurking my stream and playing Monster Hunter on the other side. But at the same time, it's like I don't mind that. One, I appreciate my lurkers, and two, I'm glad that they are liking the game as much as I do.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering it's at some point or another, hopefully, you never know, because Monster Hunter isn't like beginner friendly or super easy to get into. They might join in on like Monster Hunter Monday, so like that's probably why they want to grind it out as quickly as possible so they can play with everybody else on stream, just have fun,
Yeah, and I also agree with the whole Monster Hunter's not really like beginner friendly and has a steep learning curve. I was talking to one of my friends over the weekend, and I was like, "Hey, you're gonna get Monster Hunter Rise?" Because she's a huge Nintendo fan, huge Nintendo fan. She buys every single Nintendo product, and she plays most of the games that come out on Nintendo and on any Nintendo thing. And I was like, "Hey, you gonna get Monster Hunter Rise?" And she was like, "No, probably not. I'd have to see." And I'm like, "What does that mean?"
Over. Friendship
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, I was like, what does that fucking mean? And then she was like, "Oh, well, I tried to play back when I was playing Monster Hunter on the Wii, and I was just really bad at it, and I just I never got into it because it was just too hard." And then I was like, "Oh yeah, that is a thing."
Yeah.
I dead ass forgot. I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, you're right. Monster Hunter does have a very steep learning curve, and if you don't pick it up, then
Yeah. Especially back in the Wii days, because Monster Hunter Tri was my first Monster Hunter. I played the PSP ones, but the claw is not my thing. I can't do the claw. Especially, I forgot the name. I think it was called the PSP Go or something, like the super tiny one that you had to slide up. I had that one, so it was like the extra claw. No, it was bad even with the claw.
It's like a crane game.
Yeah. So I couldn't get into it because of the control scheme. And then it came out for the Wii, which you could play with an actual controller, and I loved it. But it took me 4 to 6 hours before I even slowly started enjoying the game. And basically, whenever my friends who never played Monster Hunter either asked me hey, should I get the game? It's like, well, here's my copy. Play it, or if they're at my place, hey, you're here for the weekend, play the first 10 hours. If you like it by then, get the game. Otherwise, it's not for you.
Yeah, I agree.
And yeah, World has made it a lot more accessible with you can move while healing. In general, the game isn't as slow anymore in combat. It's still methodical combat, but less so. And Rise, I don't know. I think Rise might be harder. If it's the secondary team, the handheld team, they usually make harder games. So it might actually be a harder version, but it might be super easy to get into because they're still using the same combat system from World. So they don't have to build everything from scratch. I think it's I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Monster Hunter World engine, just downscaled a lot. But in terms of like the wire work and the framework and the skeletons, I would bet money on it that it's the modified version of the Monster Hunter World engine.
Yeah, I mean, repurpose those good, Scoob.
Yeah, so I could definitely understand, especially if you've been burned by a game series once, it's very hard to be convinced to give it another go, right? Like,
this is true. Yeah,
like if I didn't like Monster Hunter like 10 years ago, like why would I like it now, kind of deal. Like you just kind of chalk it up like it might be too difficult, or it's just not my type of game, like and everything is valid, right? Like no game is just universally good or liked or easy or approachable,
Yeah, 100%. So I don't know. Speaking of that, like for Monster Hunter Rise, when that comes out, I will need a capture card. And yeah, I like am like I got some recommendations from Mr. Poppin' Fresh, and I looked at them and stuff like that, and so I just like I'm not sure if I should take the shot now, or if I should like wait until kind of like the better capture cards kind of come out, just because they just launched the new GTX, so it's kind of like I feel like they're on the horizon, but at the same time it's just like low-key want to start playing Animal Crossing again because they announced all that fucking Halloween shit. So it's like, and then that could be, I don't know, that could be kind of cute and fun to stream, and also just like low-key and relaxing after streaming nonstop Monster Hunter, where I'm just like going hard, going fast. So I don't know, what's kind of like your feeling on capture cards, and do you have a recommendation, or do you think like at this point it's probably good enough, like we should be waiting?
So Animal Crossing aside, right? Because realistically, you're not gonna play that for weeks and months, right? Like it's maybe gonna be a week tops, right? Like three full streams, and then because there isn't much to do, right? Like you'll visit people's islands on stream, then you're gonna hate yourself because the airport and flying to people's islands is a fucking nightmare. Nintendo, stop. Like you're gonna spend 10 minutes loading into everybody's island and shit. So if you don't have any other games that you're like dying to play, on stream, I would definitely wait, because one, capture cards are coming out all the time. Two, it's almost Christmas. For sure, there's going to be a sale on one of the good ones, right? But just in general, like, I don't personally think it's worth the investment, because for a capture card that's gonna last you, like at least a couple of years or until it breaks, basically, you're looking at around the $200 range, and I don't think that's really worth it if all you have on that plate is Animal Crossing, and then later on Monster Hunter, right? Like I just think that's a bad investment, especially when Black Friday / Cyber Monday is coming up, and followed that Christmas. But in general, there's like 5 months between now and Monster Hunter Rise coming out. So I expect at least a price drop or a completely new like generation of cards to come out by someone,
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of feeling too. It's like I should wait. I should definitely wait.
Yeah, no, I would definitely wait. Like I think even if I had the money right now, I would probably get it, because I would have Bloodborne, I would have Fire Emblem on Switch. I haven't played that yet. I'd probably get Persona 5 Royal, play that, and all of those combined is probably like at least 100 hours worth of content, because Fire Emblem is pretty long, Bloodborne is 10-20 hours, Persona is like 40, 50, 60 hours long, right? So I like that would be, if I transform that into even like 6-hour streams, that's almost 20 streams, right? So 5 months of stream content for $200, like that's good. But if all I had was Animal Crossing, and I already hate the airport now, I want to have to do it once. But if I'm gonna have to do it for everybody in chat, I don't want to kill myself, So I definitely wouldn't get it if that's the only thing I had on my plate. But if you have more games that you would play before Monster Hunter Rise comes out, and you could consider it, I would still wait for a sale, in November or even December.
Mhm. Yeah, like
But
Christmas.
yeah, exactly. But otherwise, I would just wait until Monster Hunter Rise, right?
Yeah, just for whenever the bigger, the nicer ones, the gang shitted out,
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, there's, it's probably low for either of us, but it's not an impossibility. You never know where your stream will be by then. Like Elgato might even reach out to you like, hey, we want to sponsor you. Like here, have a capture card. You never know.
I don't know about that, Scoop. That seems pretty far fetched. But also, Elgato, if you want to sponsor me, DM me right now, Scoop.
Like I
DM
said,
me. Slide in.
it's
Slide in.
it's probably very unlikely for either of us, but it's not impossible, right? Like in theory, So in that sense, I don't know. Like I would personally wait, and not just in our case, but if any streamers listening are like debating getting one, I would at least wait, until next month or even December, unless you have like a bunch of games lined up that will justify the purchase, right? Like I don't know. Just for me, $200 is just I can't justify it. Like even like I said, if I had the money, I would do it because I have a couple of games lined up that would make for that would probably keep me streaming until Monster Hunter Rise comes out,
Mm-hmm.
So that would all line up nicely. But other than that, I would never do it for like a short game like Animal Crossing. Like Monster Hunter gets like if I don't have a capture card by then, I'll buy one because I know I'm gonna put in at least 100 hours on stream of Monster Hunter. I'm gonna go hard. Like I'll probably stream every single day when that game comes out. Just fuck my stream schedule. If I'm awake, I'm streaming the game. That kind of mentality.
Yeah, for sure. And like I get that, and that's what I'm also kind of thinking. I was just thinking it'd be kind of nice to kind of have one right now, just so that in case I do get an itch to like stream something on my Switch, particularly, because I'll at least have the ability to do that. But yeah, I don't know. At the same time, it's not really mandatory right now, but definitely when Monster Hunter Rise comes out, I need to put my foot down on that 100%.
Yeah. Like I said, like I don't think I'm pretty sure I won't be getting the PS5 at launch. Like 99.9% sure. But if let's say I was and Demon Souls was out, then I would, then I would buy a capture card then instead of waiting for Monster Hunter. But it just kind of really depends on fact, because I mean at the end of the day, obviously, everybody knows their own financial situation best, right? Like if you just have $200 burning a hole in your pocket, then don't let me stop you. Like like if a sale, if a discount of like $50 makes no difference to you or your finances, then by all means, right, go live your best life, do your thing. But I just think in general, buying tech purchases, especially a capture card, because you don't want to buy a new one next year. Like you want to keep it until, I don't know, we fucking start streaming in 8K in the future, or until the card breaks down, right? Like you don't want to, like, I don't know, like I feel like that's a purchase you don't want to keep upgrading,
Yeah. I also feel like for me, my next logical upgrade for stream would probably be a better camera at this point, or just making my PC better.
Yeah, I agree. Ideally both at the same time, right? But the biggest issue obviously is DSL cameras are not cheap, because that's your next upgrade, right? You need like a DSL camera, and I think like the cheapest you can get is like a Sony 5100, which is like $500 or something, and then you need to get a charger and like a lens. So at the cheapest, you're like looking at like $700-800 to like start with, and then when you have the DSL camera, then your lighting probably isn't optimal, so you might need to invest in more lighting, etc., right? Like I'm very fortunate to stream in the room that I do. My lighting is actually really, really good. It's surprisingly so.
Yeah.
So I think as long as I stream where in this room, I don't think I ever have to upgrade my camera to a DSL.
What if you want to, get a green screen and have like that cool green screen effect and not have, the stuff in the background be visible or whatever?
I mean, sure, but the main reason why I wouldn't get a green screen right now, for the people who only listen to the podcast and don't watch my stream, I stream in the smack dab middle of my living room. So if I had a green screen, it would also be in the middle of my living room. So that's the main reason why I don't want it. But if I really was hell bent on getting a green screen, that's a lot. I would probably just put up with that instead of spending, over $700 on a camera just for a green screen, because I would still have to get it, right? Like I can't just buy a DSL camera and magically turn on the green screen, right? Although I don't know if you've kept track of the new NVIDIA software, the streaming stuff. Like, they have RTX voice for sound, but they also have like their own AI green screen thing, and apparently it works really, really well. Like, it's depending on your lighting and stuff, it's barely it's barely noticeable compared to an actual green screen, especially if you're like a small camera, right, in a corner. It's more noticeable in full screen, but I think it's still in beta. I don't know if everybody can download the release yet, and I think you do need an RTX card, like either the previous line or the current line. I'm pretty sure. So,
damn, I definitely need to upgrade then.
Yeah, I mean, you're at a fortunate position, right, where a 3080 is quote unquote cheap. It's still like $500, but it's cheap for the performance it gives you. Right, like you could probably build an entire new PC like from the ground up for like $1,500, which, all things considered, for a current generation PC, is, I would say, cheap.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cheap. I want to say like the PC that I currently have right now, it cost me about like $1,200, but that was like a long time ago when like the 970s were new.
Yeah, and when I say from the ground up, I also include like the case and everything else, right? Like, but maybe your current hard drives are fine and you want to reuse your case, and suddenly that 1,500 gets dropped down to like 1,300 and so on, right? So you're in a very fortunate position, especially with like Cyber Monday and stuff like around the corner ish. It's probably one of the best times to upgrade your computer, or just build an entire new one. I would say at this point there isn't much to reuse, right? Like if you use your current motherboard or CPU, they would just bottleneck you too. So for the most part, you kind of need to like gut everything, and you can only keep like maybe a couple components.
Yeah, no, I definitely would probably need to like upgrade pretty much everything.
Yeah, but it's fine, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, c'est la vie.
Yeah, it's also just that's just how technology works. It doesn't last forever, unfortunately.
No, it doesn't. And even if you want to future proof or whatever for today, then you definitely, it's gonna be, I don't know, it's gonna be out of date by tomorrow, kind of thing. Especially when it comes to technology. So,
like, I would say the max you can future proof your PC is like 5 years. At the 5-year mark, it's gonna not run everything on max anymore. And at that point, but if you put it in like a financial perspective, like let's say if you build a PC today for 1,200 and you upgrade it 2 years from now for another 1,200, and then 2 years later another 1,200, you spend almost $4,000. Or you could spend, $4,000 or $5,000 today and last you 5 years. It's kind of the same thing, just nobody really has $4,000 or $5,000 laying around. It's kind of the main issue,
Yeah, no, I mean, same. I don't have like $4,000 or $5,000 just like randomly laying around.
Yeah, I fucking wish.
But I mean, like, I do kind of want to get, a nicer upgrade and stuff for my PC, because when I do play Cyberpunk, I want to be able to run at least not on the lowest settings possible. However, did you see that tweet that was going around about Cyberpunk and the studio?
It's a tweet where they're forcing crunch or something, right, to get it done on time.
They're forcing crunch after tiring people and telling them, "Don't worry, we'll never ever force you to do a crunch." They're now forcing people to do crunches.
Yeah, which I think is shitty, but also expected, because people would be so mad if they delayed the game again. But also,
I would be fine with it though.
Yeah, but most people wouldn't. And I guess from director's board kind of, sales thing, they need to get it out before the holidays. They have to make the most profit. You know what I mean? Like they have to get it out.
No, they definitely have to get it out, but I mean, they could definitely push it to like more like push it off like a month, so then it's not November, it's December kind of thing. But I know, all the hot drops definitely come in around November time, for the holiday, gearing up for the holiday season, so people know. I think ideally, because of how information travels so quickly now with the internet, that made having games coming out in November made more sense when like everything was kind of slower and more towards like word of mouth. But now, since everything's kind of everything with the information highway of the internets and how readily available things are, if they ideally pushed it back like a month, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. But I also don't know if that would meet the time requirement needed to get it done. So
not crunch. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think that you heavily underestimate people or overestimate people's ability to use the internet. But just think like, imagine if you have like teenage kids or grandkids or something, right? Like you need to know way ahead of time what they want and what the newest game is, and you might have to tell your mom or your dad that you want a certain game, stuff like that. Like a lot of people still rely like on their parents or grandparents to buy them video games, or I mean they have to, because they either don't have a job or they still live at home and they're just underage and they're just super young, right? Just stuff like that.
Well, if they're underage, they shouldn't be playing fucking Cyberpunk anyways.
Yeah, but that's never gonna stop anybody, and you know it. Like you've worked in a video game store. Like how many moms came in to buy like Call of Duty or GTA for their kids?
Oh man, I totally fucked this kid over. This is great. Okay, short story time. Once upon a time, I used to work at a game store. It shall not be named on this podcast, but I used to work at a game store. And this kid comes in and they want to buy Red Dead Redemption. And this kid is like 10, maybe 11.
Mm-hmm.
So they probably shouldn't be playing Red Dead Redemption, TBH, right? And his mom comes in, and his mom is she's dressed very conservatively. That's all I'll say. So she's like, yes, my son wants to buy the game Red Dead Redemption. And I'm like, okay, well, you do know that this game is rated mature, right? And she's like, oh, well, he's quite mature for his age. I'm like, no, like it's rated mature as in like it's for adults. Have you read the back of the game? And then he's like, and he knew that he was gonna get fucked. So he's like, Mom, you don't need to read that. You don't need to read that. She's just trying to sell you a different, more expensive game. And I'm like, no, I'm not, kid. And so, because I don't make fucking commission, bitch. This is a retail store. This is a retail establishment. So then the lady's like, oh, well, let me just read the back of the box. And like, I watched that kid's eyes snap wide with horror as like in slow-mo, she turns over the box. And one of the ratings is because one of the missions, there's like I think there's a man like hanging from a barn or something like that, and he's naked. And so for a brief moment, you get to see full frontal nudity, and you see like, or was it a woman? I forget. But either way, you see some titties in that game. Either way, you see some titties. So, and one of the first things on the back of that box, I think, actually is like full frontal nudity, and she was just like, "What?" And, like, that kid got dragged out by his ear.
Yeah, but like, how many people exist like that? So I totally get needing to get it out, especially before Thanksgiving or Black Fridays and stuff like that. It's definitely from a sales perspective, it's important, but it's super shitty that they crunch. Absolutely. Although speaking of crunch, our time's up, my dude. We've been chatting away for a long ass time.
It felt like it went by very quickly.
It did. I mean, it always does. So, but yeah, I think your story was like a good high note to end on.
Sounds good. I mean, I love that ruined that little kid's life.
Yeah.
Hashtag,
I mean, hopefully not his life, but at least his day.
Right, I'm like, dude, you're fucking like 10, man. You don't need to be playing that kind of shit right now, man.
Oh no, I agree. Absolutely. But yeah, thanks for keeping me company. Thanks for talking the shit with me.
Always like to shoot the shit, my guy.
Hell yeah. Next week we'll be having another guest. Like, ooh, spooky. So be sure to tune in for that one. In the meantime, don't forget to hit like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell to know when the next video is posted. And I'll be your host, Milan, signing off.
And my name is Kelly, and if you have any stories where you doxed a child also and fucked them over and didn't let them buy a game, comment below because I would love to read it and laugh.
Hell yeah. All right, everyone. Take care.
Later, gamers.